Okay, so in this video, we're using the chisel to cut this piece off and to form the flat portion that's going to go against the wall to mount our hook. The hook was made by way of a round taper with a scrolled end that was curled into a hook. We did that in the last two videos, and we're about to finish it up now. Keeping track of the tools that we've used so far. So far, it's been a flat, hard surface. You could use a square rock for this if you really needed to. One 2-pound hammer that was, basically cost me pocket change at an antique dealer. And the next tool we're going to introduce is going to be a hot cutting chisel like this. And they are dirt cheap. You can get them at every hardware store, Home Depot, Walmart's even got them. You can get chisels like this all over the place. And it doesn't necessarily matter how great the quality of the steel is in these chisels, because they're used for cutting material hot, which is going to be soft anyway because of the heat. And therefore the chisel does not need to be that hard or that resilient. So we'll do that now. We're going to let that heat up just a touch more. All right, it's very simple. Lay it on the flat of your anvil surface, chisel goes on. Start setting your cut. Make sure your chisel's nice and centered and straight. Drive that dude down. Now, from here, I'm going to be careful not to drive it too deep to where it contacts the face of the anvil. I bring it over here to the softer portion. If you don't have an anvil with one of these, do yourself a favor and put a plate of mild steel or something on the face of the anvil, so you don't leave big chisel marks in your work surface. I'm still trying to be careful with it anyway, because this anvil is very old. And I don't want to damage it too much if I can help it. Sometimes it pops off like that. It's no big deal. This is where tongs come into play, because this piece is blazing hot right now. What we're going to do now is drop it back in the fire one more time, lay about 1/4 inch of it over the square edge of the anvil here, and set it down by striking with about 50% of the hammer face on the anvil and about 50% of it off on the material. That's going to cause, when you strike square, and this is about the most technical hammer technique that we're going to use in this entire series of videos, but when you strike square, it's going to drive this material at the back down below the corner of the anvil and spread the material in the front and dish it out and make it much longer and wider and thinner up here. And that's how we're going to achieve this shape. We'll do that now. So again, hanging about a 1/4 inch of it over there, maybe a half. There you go. Set it down. And there it is. Now, the last thing to do with this to make it shiny would be to wire brush it with one of these and wire brush it hot. And it'll take all the scale and everything off of it and make it shinier, give it a little bit shinier, glossier finish like this, you know. But you can do that with a grill brush also. But that's a very simple project. Like I said, if you're keeping track of the tools we're using, a flat block of steel or a sledgehammer sitting in a stump or a train track or whatever you've got that has 90-degree sides to a flat face, one simple hammer, one chisel for cutting steel hot, and one pair of tongs or pliers to hold it with when it's no longer attached to the bar so you don't burn your hands is all you need to make something simple like this. You can make 3 or 4 of them, put them on a cedar or walnut back, and have yourself a coat rack or a hat rack or a key rack or something like that that nobody can buy. And that is what makes this so enjoyable and what makes people take so much pride in it. But that's it. I hope this was informative. If you like the video, or the videos I should say, because this is going to be 3 parts to get this done, like, subscribe, drop me a comment if you have any questions or concerns. We'll cover a little bit more advanced forging techniques in later videos and talk about fire and what to use for fire and how it's going to work. Other tools that you're going to have, like accessory tools like vices, other pairs of tongs, punches, different styles of hammers, so on and so forth. But just to give you an idea, you can make stuff like this. Your imagination is literally the limit when it comes to the kind of stuff you can make with just a hammer and a flat anvil surface once you have the basic forging techniques in place. So there it is. I hope that's informative for somebody, and let me know what you think.